T'Monowus, written by Kathy Cole, illustrated by Braden Langley, with special thanks to Elaine Lane, Bobby Mercier, and Jed Schrock. Vocabulary: Ancestors: Onkadi Tillicum. River: Emalch. Water: Tzuk. Hunter: Nanich Mawich Tillicum. Arrows: Kaliden Stick. Grand Ronde: Zawash Ilai. Return: Ilapai. Land: Ilai. Agreement: Nowitka Wawa. Youth: Chi Tillicum. Eyes: Siaquas. Where have you been? Ka Micah Mithlite Onkadi. I've been waiting for you. Nika Hayu Atapas Micah. I've been waiting to hear the voices of my people. Nika Hayu Ata Pasquolan Nika Tillicum Tluskawawa. A long time ago, T'Monowus lived in the Westland area, where our ancestors, the Clackamas people, lived. It is thought to have fallen on a glacier during the last ice age. During the Missoula floods, it floated down the river and ended up in the Westland area. The Clackamas people believed that it was a sacred object that came to us from the Sky people. They would use the water that pooled in the crevices of T'Monowus for spiritual ceremonies, such as healing and cleansing ceremonies. Hunters would also dip their arrows into the water for good luck. In the years 1856 to 57, the U.S. government rounded up Native people from all over the Pacific Northwest and put them on reservations. The Clackamas people were brought to Grand Ronde. Once there, they were not able to leave the reservation without permission. Sometimes they could get a pass to leave, but if they didn't return, they were rounded up and brought back to the reservation. Because of that, they lost their connection with T'Monowus. T'Monowus was left and went unnoticed until Ellis Hughes discovered it in 1902. T'Monowus weighed 15.5 tons and was covered with vegetation. When Hughes found it, it wasn't on his land. T'Monowus was on land owned by the Oregon Iron and Steel Company. Hughes tried to buy the land, but the company would not sell it to him. So, he decided to drag it onto his property. With the help of his wife, son, and a horse, it took them 3 months to drag it 3/4 of a mile to his property. He built a shed over it and started charging admission to see it. The Oregon Iron and Steel Company filed a lawsuit claiming ownership and won. In 1905, T'Monowus was purchased by William E. Dodge for $26,000. It was put on display for the Lewis and Clark Centennial Exposition. T'Monowus was then donated to the American Museum of Natural History in New York, where it's been on display ever since. The Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde cited the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act in 1999 to seek the return of T'Monowus, but the museum countersued. In 2000, the two sides were able to reach an agreement. This agreement includes a tribal youth internship program. Tribal youth are able to apply to be an intern during this sophomore through senior year. Each year, 2 students are chosen, alternating between boys 1 year and girls another. Students are chosen by their grades and cultural as well as community involvement. Once chosen, they go to the museum in New York, and they are there for a month, learning about the museum, T'Monowus, and the experience of New York. During this internship, the museum shuts down the building for the evening and gives the tribe a chance to have a private ceremony with T'Monowus. The delegation of tribal members are educated about T'Monowus, and a ceremony is performed in its honor. Then the delegation is given a chance to clean T'Monowus and leave words for it. We want T'Monowus to know that it is not forgotten and that we are still connected. Personally, I knew of T'Monowus and had heard much about it, but I wasn't fully prepared for my reaction to coming into its presence. The minute I rounded the corner and put my eyes on it, I started crying. I could feel its power from across the room. It's a moment I will never forget. Katherine Harrison was part of the NAGPRA effort in 1999 and ended up being the one who signed the agreement with the museum. She said, "When I first saw it, I heard a voice that said, 'Where have you been? I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting to hear the voices of my people.'" She, too, was very touched by this experience. The agreement between the museum and the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde includes an understanding the tribe will drop its claim of repatriation of Tamanoas, and also a stipulation that if Tamanoas is ever taken off display, it will be returned to the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. That being said, who knows how this story will end? Perhaps Tamanoas will someday come home.